I'm Karen Stainbrook, the VP of Product Management for 3G, handling the 3G Pacejet shipping software. And I'm here with Brett from MFS Supply.
Hi, I'm Brett Wood for MFS Supply out of Solon, Ohio. And we've been a 3G Pacejet customer since 2018.
Great, thank you. 3G Pacejet shipping is part of the 3G Transportation Management Suite, which is designed to optimize everything over the road to improve costs, customer satisfaction, and efficiency. We have been an SDN partner since 2009 and have over 600 NetSuite customers who are shipping millions of parcel and LTL shipments every year. Tell me a little bit about MFS Supply.
MFS Supply was founded in 2007. We started as a real estate supply company, primarily in the securing space. Our primary sales segment was lock boxes, but that segment quickly grew into other real estate type products, and the biggest segment for us today is cabinetry. And so our succession has really changed over the years, but 3G and Pacejet have definitely helped us to achieve our goals.
And what changes were happening in the business that led you to evaluate needs for another shipping solution and brought you to 3G Pacejet shipping?
When we started as a lockbox company, primarily our distribution was done through small parcel. And early on, the NetSuite small parcel system worked adequately, we would say, for us. But as carriers started to implement things like dimension weights and other ways of rating, quickly the NetSuite model became obsolete. And we had to look for a more advanced way of both rating and shipping. And so 3G became one of the systems that we evaluated.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the parcel software that you had been using?
So we started with the native NetSuite small parcel shipping module, which for a lot of small businesses might be adequate. And for us, it was adequate for a good number of years. But I think as the carriers changed and as our needs changed, so did then the systems. NetSuite has made some improvements to their system, and it still does very well for a lot of small and medium businesses. But we needed just a little bit more. We wanted some more carrier options. And really the big one for us was we needed LTL options, which weren't possible with native NetSuite.
So as you were looking to expand LTL into the business from the growth that you were having, you were looking for something that would serve both parcel needs and LTL needs, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about how you have your staff segregated between those two roles and growing people from one area of the solution into the other.
We generally start like a junior sales associate in the small parcel space, really like as an account manager, where they'll also learn the rating process for small parcel. And then they'll start to maybe learn some of the skills necessary to grow into an account manager in the cabinetry sales space. The cabinetry sales is a longer sales cycle, and it's a little bit more complicated than the small parcel type. And so we really start those junior associates, at kind of the simpler levels, and then they can learn some of the more complex. Really, it's probably about the distribution, right? How do I get full-blown cabinets in an assembled manner to a residence or a business, and what are my options, and what are all the necessary accessorials as well that would be needed to make a successful delivery?
Right. I think you were telling me that previously you were using like the LTL carrier websites and then some of the Parcel desktop software. So moving an individual from one area to the other would be a lot more retraining than if they learn a user interface for Pacejet with Parcel, then the transition into LTL was a lot easier for that staff.
Yeah, very true, Karen. We had probably like a lot of businesses, we had a transportation manager that really was the central hub around LTL quoting. So all quoting, was first sent to the transportation office, and then that manager oftentimes was using, as you suggested, third-party websites or other rating portals in order to see all of those options, which obviously through 3G Pacejet, we were able to bring into one rating portal and then make that available for those sales reps. So really took away that kind of one central point that was really a log jam in that model, and now gave that ability to get all of those quotes from multiple carriers right at the user level.
And you're doing that within the sales order in NetSuite?
We do it at the estimate level, Karen.
Okay.
All of our sales generally start at the estimate level, which makes it nice because then you get the full picture. What's the total cost before you convert to sale?
Well, that's great. With our quoting process, it gives you the flexibility to start at the estimate or the order, whichever makes sense for your business. And your journey is pretty similar to a lot of companies that we help with. I like to call it the digital transformation in shipping. Many companies that we implement are coming from the legacy desktop software offered by the carriers. So, that's UPS World Ship and FedEx Ship Manager. And then if LTL starts creeping into the business, they start using carrier websites. So you've been on a very typical journey. Brett, I understand that you've decided to outsource some warehouse operations. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you got to that decision and how we supported you in that process?
Sure. As our cabinet business grew, obviously the landscape in our warehouse changed. We were offering bigger and bigger products, and LTL was, starting to become the predominant distribution method. In order to keep those same service levels high for our small parcel customers, we actually moved our small parcel program to a 3PL. We were still able to keep 3G Pacejet in the system by still using the rating system as well as the address validation plugin on our website, as well as our internal reps still use predictive packaging in Pacejet to effectively calculate the number of packages in small parcel and in LTL. And so we were able to transition our small parcel program to a 3PL where they do pick, pack, and ship just as well as we would.
That's great. For those of you out there that don't know what predictive packing is, it's a feature that we offer that estimates the number of boxes for the items in an order. And so the quoting process that's in place here, MFS Supply, is on their website and in the NetSuite ERP system as well. And it's estimating the number of boxes so that there's an accurate rate. And where are you doing that, Brett, in the ERP? Is it at the sales order level or the estimate level? Because we offer both.
We typically do it at the estimate level, Karen, but you're correct. We do have the capability to do it at both the estimate and the sales order, but we like to put together that whole comprehensive quote for the customer, including the shipping and the accessorials, so that customer has a complete picture before we convert to a sale.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you'd ever consider bringing those parcel products back into your warehouse?
Absolutely. In order to keep service to our customers high, we always are evaluating what is best for us and best for the customers. The good news is that our systems as well as our personnel would be able to support that change. It would be not a huge challenge for us to be able to bring back that small parcel program with the systems already in place.
Brett, since you told me that you've got predictive packing in place for supporting good quotes. One thing I'd be interested in understanding is what you thought of the implementation process for it, because I will tell you, it requires a significant amount of data on your products, length, width, height, weight, and we rarely find businesses that already have that kind of information and struggle gathering it. So how did you tackle that at MFS Supply?
Great question, Karen. We were exactly like you described. We didn't have DIMS or freight classes in many of our items. We most likely just had a basic weight. And so your implementation team was really flexible with us. One, we wanted to implement the LTL portions of rating and shipping first. And so we focused on our cabinet business. And we spent some time in the warehouse and we harvested all of the dimensions and weights, or validated the weights and harvested the dimensions from all of the cabinet products in our warehouse. And when we were done with that, then we went on to the small parcel products so that we could get better rates and better predictive packaging, because NetSuite just doesn't offer that in their small parcel calculator. And so we just had to spend some time in the warehouse with a tape measure and a logbook. But that's really how we were able to achieve it. We actually somewhat crowdsourced it a little bit. Send everybody here's your portion of the list, go get this information and send it back. And then we were able to update our database with all of that information. So now all of our products include accurate weights, dimensions, as well as freight classes. One thing that we discovered by doing that is it also gave us very, very clear understanding of when sometimes those dimensions pushed us over certain thresholds. For example, in small parcel shipping, anything approaching 8 foot in length, as oftentimes our cabinet trim pieces do, are very expensive to ship small parcel. Because they exceed that dimension. And so we were able to put together a list, and our sales team has seen this as well when they're quoting. Here's a list of items that are going to give you very high rates, especially if they're shipped alone. Sometimes it may be better to look at some LTL options, or a lot of times what we really do is encourage customers to buy extra trim material when they're making their purchases, because those small, non-costly items from a material perspective can be really costly to ship later. So it gave us a really good list of some of those items that we need to give customers some more education on. That's
great. You know, it sounds like your sales team is a little bit more informed, a little bit more educated as a result of the process, although laborious. I chuckled. I was curious if you did actually use a tape measure. We hear some customers actually purchase a dimensioner for that project, but sometimes people don't feel like it's a long-term investment. So whichever way you do it, a dimensioner or the good old tape measure, you got to get it done. So we thank you for doing that.
It was our pleasure, and it was it definitely paid off for us, Karen. Those are the investments that you make. Those are one-time investments, so that the system is better for it.
Thank you. Brett, we kind of pride ourselves on the fact that 3G Pacejet shipping is purpose-built for the warehouse. For us, that means that we have the right limited user interface from the ERP system for the folks who are at the pack and ship station. We've got dedicated printing that is meant for the warehouse. And I know that your team is specifically using our scan pack. And the way that interface was designed was to give very good feedback to the person in the warehouse, both audibly and visually. People call it the horn of the car, a honk if you scan the wrong item, but also it turns the page red so that it's visual too. And I understand that you're using that in your warehouse.
Yeah, Karen. So the user interface for the warehouse employee is really, really simplified, but engaging. So the employee, starts, or at least our process in packing and shipping starts for that packer. And as you described, they have both audible and visual cues, so they can see their screen is displaying those items that they're packing, those items that are expected to be packed. And if, for example, they grabbed a wrong item and tried to pack it in a shipment and it's incorrect, the screen turns red, but you get a real loud car honk. And we actually have speakers set up at every pack station so that the users get both those audible and visual cues. It's a really great feature. It's improved our shipping accuracy tremendously. When the packaging process is done, we absolutely use your labeling system to stage all of our pallets for shipping. And those labels generally help us to ensure that we're loading the trucks properly and that the correct number of containers is loaded onto the truck. So a really robust system, really powerful for packaging and shipping, good user interface. I think most of our users love it.
Brett, I understand that you've made some decisions in your carrier contracts recently and are moving away from direct LTL relationships to a 3PL relationship. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Karen, we were finding that a lot of times our sales associates were spending time on tracking as well as freight claims, probably too much time. And so we said in order to get them more focused on meeting with customers and making sales, we are transitioning our LTL program to a 3PL simply because then the freight claims as well as any tracking issues or customer service issues, we have a dedicated order desk now to help us with those services.
So you're viewing it as more labor savings internally by doing that?
Yeah. Absolutely, Karen. It allows us to free up some of our people to do those things that we're good at and allow the freight carriers and the people at the 3PL to do what they're good at, which is going to be freight claims as well as freight tracking and carrier compliance.
And the 3PL that you've selected, was that 3PL already in our network of carriers?
It was not, but we were able to reach out to your developers, get them added to a integration schedule, which was recently just completed. So we're excited to be moving towards that program here very soon. But your team was incredibly helpful in getting that up and running for us.
Brett, we're closing on our time here, but I do really appreciate the time you've spent with us. Anything else you would like to share with us about MFS Supply?
Karen, thanks so much for your time. I really enjoyed it. If you're a property manager or a property owner and you're in the market for cabinets, look up mfssupply.com or take a look at our offerings and give us a call if you're interested.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Karen.
3G is a sponsor this year at SuiteWorld, and come see us in our booth or see us in the Suite apps or go3g.com to see this full story.